Hello, and welcome to SKCTV's first bulletin of the year. I'm Becky Lane.
And I'm Steele Strang. In today's show, we'll be focusing on trashing privileges,
Recapping this year's USA media trip,
having a yarn about the knitting club, Busy Fingers,
and finally reviewing the annual cross country.
The common room is the ultimate prize for senior students, and yet, on an average day, there's more rubbish than students. Year 13, Henry Dolan reports.
Yeah, rubbish in the common room is an ongoing problem.
The Year 13 Common Room, a place where students can relax, eat food, and even get some study done. Lately, there has been a problem with how the space is being treated.
It's a very nice room that you should all be able to enjoy, and I feel sorry for the Year 13s who want to enjoy that room but can't because it's just left in such a mess.
Rubbish in the common room is so gross, it's terrible.
Yeah, Mr. Venter made me pick it all up yesterday, and there was a lot of it.
No, I think it's fine. Rubbish is pretty bad in the common room.
The rubbish in the common room is disgusting, and I cause most of it.
Oh, it can be really disgusting on a regular basis. And actually we call them on it, you know, when we see, I have to say it's mostly boys. When we see the boys here eating, we say take your rubbish with you, but it's not unusual in the 12:30 slot to come in here and it's just a pigsty.
Despite this being a privilege for the Year 13s, students have no common decency and are dumping their rubbish regardless.
Well, I mean, it's our space, so it's horrible for us to have to sit amongst rubbish. I mean, obviously we usually pick it up and put it in the bin because, you know, they're responsible students, but it's not a nice place to be.
So let's start putting it in the bin, Year 13.
While most people were enjoying Easter eggs at the end of Term 1, 56 students and 8 teachers headed over to the USA for the Performing Arts and Media Studies tour. Hunter Williams and Travis Conway caught up with Mr. Thomas to discuss.
So the workshops that we went to for media studies were run by the different museums or the centres, and one of them was looking at American political advertising, and we went to a workshop at the Paley Centre, which is one of the biggest TV centres in America. It's like a museum and archive, and we did one based on the representation of young women in the media. Mainly the biggest benefits were to sort of like open students' eyes to what's out there, what they can do. It was a great place to sort of burst that little bubble of being in New Zealand, sort of towards the bottom of the world. You know, it's nothing like taking a group of kids into the middle of Times Square and sort of blowing their mind with what's available and what's around the place. I do think it really is worth it for the money that's there. I mean, it's quite reasonable by the end of it. We often do have a fundraiser, so we do end up giving money back to students getting money back.
Should the media trip be available to everyone, i.e. on a 2-year cycle, and why do you feel that way?
Oh, gee, it's a very loaded question. We have media from Year 10 through to Year 13, so we could go on a 3-year cycle, but when we offer it, it should be open to all year groups. And I think that we should have a fixed number of how many kids can go, and we should interview who's going, because there are times where, you know, you'll say, hey, we're going to go to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, which is an amazing place, and you'll see pieces of artwork that you'll never get to see, and kids want to go shopping. I think we could go 3 years and interview. I think we could go 2 years. But I do think it's sad when it's often kids know about it and they miss out. If it was run in 3 years' time, there would be a good group of students who would probably miss out on it.
Year 11's Nick Vile and Callum Davies stitched together our next yarn about SKC's latest tight-knit group, Busy Fingers.
SKCTV reporters Nick Vile and Callum Davies checked out the Busy Fingers Knitting Club at the college. The members there had something to say about the art of knitting.
Knitting and crocheting is really an old-fashioned craft methodology.
Coming back to the question, Ms. Wells also tells us that it's trendy and fun.
It's very trendy to knit. You'll see a lot of tree bombing and stuff going on around Auckland.
Sure, knitting's a lot of fun, but why are the students taking part in the club?
For Duke of Ed. Yeah, just service. Yeah.
Ms. Wells reveals the story behind service.
In terms of service, I had lots of students approach me about whether they could do this for service. Service kind of came out of the students wanting to do stuff for other people and being able to create things that are useful and that are not wasteful.
So, is the Busy Fingers Club here as a creative outlet for like-minded knitters, or the easy ride to service for Duke of Ed students? This is Nick Vile and Callum Davies with SKCTV.
And that's all from us.
Thanks for watching.
I'm talking like seriously. I feel like I've gone legit.
No, like I had my doubts about the season of episodes.